Well, hello! I'd like to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about fountain pens that I have been using this week. So let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens, both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, I've got a lot of topics tonight if my voice lasts, so feel free to dive in the comments on any of them. So this is my post-laryngitis edition. I can tell already in my voice that it's still there, but it's a lot better. And I'll bring you up to date at the end of this video about the whole school being closed thing. So we want to look at the pens, so let's look at them. Alright, so first, I have my pen kimono. I never thought I was a pen kimono person, but as I was filming my review a few weeks, whoops, like that, filming my review a few weeks ago about this lovely beast, it occurred to me I should keep it in there as an extra layer of protection. This is the kimono that it came with, my Nakaya. So, yeah, it's been living in this, and, you know, I have to say, it works really well. So, yeah, we'll keep that here, especially if I drop it again. Luckily, that was just on the pen tray. We'll blame the cold I'm getting over for that kind of stuff. Wow, yeah, that's a nice pen to drop. All right, Platinum President, last seen in a horrifying state, but you'll see it's much happier this week. So it's headlining 2 weeks in a row, but with different inks. Parker Frontier. An upcoming review, by the way. Delta Dolcevita Masterpiece. It's on its, I can't remember if it's its second or third fill. Not ready for a review yet, but this is the process of getting closer. Same thing with this Inco. Beautiful Polish pen. Okay, not so beautiful, but Polish. And, whoops. There we go. Made in Poland. This will be, it is on its second fill, so its review is coming sooner rather than later because I'm excited about that one. But I got to get through 2 full fills at least. Pelikan Silvexa. I had an extra thing about its name here. Oh, I didn't write it down, so I will have to add that in post. Oh, 21. Pelikan 21 Silvexa. Let me just quick add that to my show notes so that it appears on your the video description. This is an upcoming review. My Nakaya Decapod, mainly because I don't have a lot of pens inked this week. So I thought, well, what am I currently writing with? Because that's kind of an always thing. This had to pinch hit. This came out of my group of pens that I was going to clean out today. It's not quite empty, which is a good thing because the Lamy 2000 is empty. I said, oh, that's okay. I'll just quick refill it out of my bottle of Lamy Black. Whoops, that was empty, and I would swear I should have known that, but I didn't. So anyway, this is filled with the last dredges of Lamy Black. It is pinch hitting for the Lamy 2000 this week. And finally, pen I don't think you've seen in a long time, or it may be one that I've just written with in the background but never actually brought on Pens in Use, a Senator Windsor. So I probably sound a little distracted and disoriented there. Sorry, senseless. So let's take a look at how these pens write. If I'm babbling over much and sounding a bit overexcited, part of it may be because this week talking has been painful to me, thanks to that laryngitis, which is why you did not see a review this week. So I will do my writing samples in my Bomo art journal, and I had a couple of thoughts last week or a couple of suggestions last week from people about possible replacements for this down the road. Now there is room, front, back. There is room for me to investigate before I decide, do I want to continue Bomo Art Journal or to try something else? I'll tell you what I like about Bomo Art Journal. In fact, I will try to remember to put it in the show notes because I did do a review on the Bomo Art Journal, I think 2 years ago. And it's a small company in Budapest, Hungary. I have my problems with the Hungarian government for various reasons, but not with people in Hungary, especially with small businesses that love books and paper. Okay, off topic, but I'll just throw this in here real quick. I love the potential of stationery. Even stationery I may not have a use for, the potential is there. It's just like excites me that I could find a use for this. I have more paper products than I need because just that potential thing just gets me excited. You know, you see these cool little stickies that are somewhat translucent, so they can go over a page. I'm like, oh, I know I can find a use for that. I don't know what it is, but I can find a use for that. That's kind of me. So I focus on fountain pens on this channel, but I am kind of a stationery junkie. Luckily, the nearest office supply store is almost 200 miles away, so I haven't really been able to feed that addiction, and it's a lot easier to resist when it's online. So yeah, I've saved a lot of money that way probably, but I love stationery, and the fact that a business was created to make fine stationery is just, oh, so exciting, so I kind of want to support them. But before I really do kill my voice again, because I need it Friday and Saturday, I'm going to take a look at how these pens write. I may also do a gross throat clearing noise, which I will edit out of the video for your convenience. So the first pen up is my Platinum President. None the worse for wear on the nib from last week's debacle with the Krishna ink, which was developing crusties. Not a happy time for the pen, but the crusties washed right off. I soaked the nib for good measure, but it's writing very well. I felt that it deserved to be put right back in service with a non-encrusting ink, just to prove that I still loved it. Platinum President, broad cursive italic nib, and the ink in it is Herbin L'été, which actually reminds me one of the topics that's going to come up at the end of this video. I've been kicked something. I've been emptying out my email inbox, and I found an old email from somebody who hasn't emailed me in a long time, but it was somebody viewed the channel and got my email address. But they had sent me an email asking me why I couldn't be bothered to even use Google Translate to figure out how to pronounce these French terms, and the specific one in the email was Herbin. I deleted the email, but last night, I'll get to that at the end of the video, why I'm being so specific about when I deleted it. But it's just kind of a funny memory about, honestly at the time, I knew Google Translate existed. I had used it to translate some words. It had never occurred to me that I could use it to learn the pronunciation of foreign words. So I learned something, even though the tone of the email was very snarky about my French pronunciation. So thank you. I do actually respond to criticism. I don't always agree. Sometimes I ignore it. But if it's valid, I do, and it has a helpful suggestion, I will actually listen to it, even though I may be sort of right at the moment. All right, my next pen, I actually bought one of these back in college at a Walmart, a Parker Frontier. It wasn't this one. The one I bought, I gave away kind of foolishly years ago, before I got seriously into fountain pens. And I wish I'd kept it. It's not that it's that amazing of a pen. It just would have been kind of cool to have that pen still. But I ran into this one at I don't even remember where. I've had it for a few years. But I'm going to film a review of it before the ink runs out. Parker Frontier. This has a medium nib on it. The one I had kind of a mottled red finish and a rubbery grip. And the ink in this is Noodler's Navy, which is extraordinarily slow to dry. But hey, it's a beautiful color. I will be curious to edit this. I don't remember if I've ever done a video where I used it. Find out how well it comes across on the camera. I know how it's coming across on the preview screen, but I've learned that that doesn't always mean anything about color. Dolcevita masterpiece. I have had actually a couple of comments saying that Delta is still very much alive, and I'm just kind of going, oh. I guess there's a website out there, but I've read enough that it's not still around, so I'm just not sure. I haven't seen them for sale anywhere except for old stock, but who knows? It's in Italy. They may have cut back. I really don't know. And I'm in North Dakota, so, what do I know? Pen has a fusion nib, which I got taken to task for my criticisms of that, but I still say it's pseudoscience. I don't care. It's a very nice steel nib with a piece of gold decoration on it. It's not some weird, fantastical piece of science. So we have a Dolcevita masterpiece. And I think I said this is on its second fill. I always like to go through at least 2 full fills, if not more, before I'll review a pen. So I guess you could argue it's there, but it's not through this fill yet, so it would be the 3rd fill when I'd actually do it at some point. So I just had to look what the ink was because I couldn't remember. So we went to Australia this time. Robert Oster. Terracotta. And Robert Oster actually has a surprising array of colors. I hadn't really looked at their selection much till just a few days ago, and just, wow. I own a few of their inks, but I just had no idea the range. And maybe it's expanded recently. I normally don't do much ink shopping in the winter. I did recently do some ink shopping back in January. Not really looking at the weather report because it had been unseasonably warm, and I decided, I can order some inks. Well, it immediately turned unseasonably cold, like way sub-zero, and post office even closed a few times just due to the cold, and kind of scary. I thought, what am I going to get in these inks? Well, it turned out actually very well. So I think maybe my fears about freezing ink in transit are misplaced. I don't know. None of them were frozen. None of them were broken. Maybe they froze and thawed. I have no idea. So this is a Inco. This is a Polish pen. A little the worse for wear. I feel like there must have been a decorative band there, or maybe even a structural support type band. Some tarnish up here. It's a syringe filler. I'm going to show you this because you'll see a syringe filler. Actually, I guess in my first impressions this coming week, I was sent a pen, which I'll show you here toward the end of the video. Another thing to show you. But anyway, this Inco Polish pen. Interesting. I've never written with this ink on this paper, but everything I've written with this ink has been looking kind of faded, but on this paper it looks pretty wonderful. So what is the ink? I apologize. I got kind of excited about that. Chris Sains did a video on this ink this week. She described it as a bit washed out. Very pretty color. And I agreed with her until writing this, and I'm just thinking, wow, that looks exactly like I hoped it would look when I bought the bottle. So I guess I need to branch out and try it on some more different kinds of paper. I have not had this pen out, but I'm kind of running low on pens that I've written with enough. I went through a spell of buying too many. So this got set by the wayside, but it's a Pelikan Silvexa, Pelikan 21 Silvexa. Very nice pen, actually. Gold nib. I know it looks silver, but it's gold. It just kind of screams late 60s, early 70s. The ink is a sample I have never had before. Never even heard of this brand. Very cartoonish kind of green, but you know, it's a pleasant green. It's just cartoonish. I guess there's no better word for it. Okay, I made a big deal about the pen kimono. Damn, I love this pen. This is a Nakaya Decapod twist with a soft fine nib. I just love writing with this pen. It is the most expensive pen I know, but I just love it. The ink in it, and I don't seem to be using anything else in it, is Sailor Jentle Epinard. And I will tell you that those stupid Sailor bottles, which I heard are going by the wayside, so thank God for that, with some other problems coming with that, but that's another story. Yeah, it's getting hard to fill this pen in from those bottles, so I'm having to put the ink in something else, an ink miser, to fill the pen, which not thrilled by that. But yeah, Sailor bottles just are too shallow for normal pens. All right, pinch hitting for the Lamy 2000 this week, so luckily there was enough ink left in this one. Kaweco V14S. I think it's going to be resurrected soon with a different ink in it, because I do like writing with it, and I just don't use it enough. This has the Lamy black in it. It's just a very good pen. Smooth writing, very fine. Not one of those that you use to show off your ink. It's just one of those that does a good job writing. And finally, the Senator Windsor. You can't really tell, but it's a piston filling pen. I think I'm only on its second fill. And this is kind of as Senator was getting away from the really good quality pens. But it's a very nice, very good pen. It's just not, you know, up to the standards of some of the others that I've used. So this has a medium nib, probably steel. The ink in it is Rohrer. Oops, wrote my R wrong. Rohrer and Klingner. Königsblau. Which is just a very nice kind of a royal blue color, if you're into that kind of thing. Okay, in other excitement, yes, I did write a small list. Don't worry, this whole list isn't for this video. I'm just reading a small part of this list. So, yeah, I had laryngitis this week. When I shoveled the 18 inches of snow I was gifted with on Sunday, I should have known I was getting sick because, yeah, I shouldn't have been that exhausted from shoveling snow, but I was. And then Monday, yeah, it was pretty bad. I was going to film lots of videos Sunday, but exhausted. Monday, you didn't want to hear me hacking and coughing. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, laryngitis. So Wednesday, first hour, we get an announcement through the school that everybody who's in the south parking lot needs to move their vehicles because of a water main break. So I don't have a vehicle in the south parking lot because I walk to work. But yeah, so at the end of first hour, I snuck out to the south doors to take a peek, and yeah, the south parking lot was flooded. So there was, excuse me, a water main break. We finished up school that day, but we've had today, Thursday, I know the video uploads Friday, but we had Thursday off from school because there was no water in it. So 450 kids, what do you do with them without water? Kind of a problem. So we had no school today. I had visions of what I would do through the school day. But as the day came to an end, and of course, remember Wednesday, I didn't have my voice back yet. I had a thought, you know, rather than work on school, rather than work on videos, because that didn't look like it was going to happen at all, I thought, why don't you work on some of that personal improvement you've been wanting to do? So that's what I'm going to just show you a little bit of that. So first of all, a few weeks ago, I finished reading this book. And I was thinking, why didn't you take some notes? So I need to go back and write some notes down. Because I do sort of bullet journal, but this had a lot of good suggestions I want to take advantage of. And I just need to take the time to do that, because if you don't write it down, it's forgotten. Which, by the way, is a point that comes up in this book. And I've been working on how I could better write things down. You know, I'm bringing down, I don't know if I want to use this notebook. Yeah, this notebook's a little too organized. But I have some notebooks floating around the house that are just every page, you know, oh, what's next? I have no idea. And how do I find anything? I have no idea. And I also have a lot of index cards floating around because I like using them. And I have my bullet journal, which has the bullet journal part, it has a calendar part, and then a part of random notebook junk again. So I've been thinking about how to get more systematic and kind of integrate the index cards, all of the notebooks, and then kind of what I got out, bullet journaling and getting things done. And another website that I'd looked at over the summer called Pile of Index Cards. And come up with a system where, you know, what's nice, this book doesn't get too specific about tools. That's why I think they'll work well together. You know, each tool for its purpose. Index cards, I was doing that today. You know, when I had a thought about something in a class or science olympiad or whatever, I just write it down in an index card, put a, you know, code on it, SO for science olympiad, for example, ES for earth science, P for physics, actually, no, PH, yeah, who cares? I didn't write one for physics. I haven't had to come up with a code for that yet. But anyway, you know, so I can alphabetize them in the index card box and then do something with them. Put them together into notes. Like I often do my research for fountain pens on index cards, coupled with Evernote, which is a web app / program where you, well, we'll talk about Evernote some other time, but what it does with my research is it often serves as like a bibliography, so I can say source 1 for the Lamy ion, and on my index card I can just put a 1 and a Lamy ion on it. And anyway, integrating all of that. I don't want to focus too much on the tools because I know I get excited there. So the methodology, you know, that's where the Getting Things Done book and bullet journaling actually have a lot of overlap. And I'm just seeing that, yeah, it'll work within my system, and more importantly, the way I work, and actually improve it. And I spent a lot of my time today just working through that, working that out, and setting my tools out, which really, pen, some index cards, I need an inbox, which is going to be an old file folder or file folder box for now, till I get something better. I cleared out my email inbox, both of them, because I have 2 email accounts. That was very satisfying. I've got a handful of emails ready that I need to figure out a filing system for, because I do need to keep them for reference. But that's, you know, that's a detail I just need to work on. So, oh, we don't have a lot of time left on this camera. Battery's about dead. So anyway, that's what I worked on for most of today. Grocery shopping, but that was about it. And I think it was worth it, rather than trying to work on school, rather than trying to get ahead on house cleaning, take that extra bonus day, let my voice recover, and just think about how I do things, the bigger picture. And so we'll see. I think by summer I'll have an update and I'll actually be able to say something intelligent about my system. I'll have found out what actually works and what doesn't work. Because right now I'm all in that missionary zeal phase where I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm going to try now because it's so exciting. I just got to share it with everybody because it's so awesome. Well, I got to get past that. So lots of planning. I do write a lot of notes. That's how I remember things. I've always been a write it down type of person. And that's why I can do a pens in use every week, because I write a lot of notes about, oh, how'd this go with the lab and so on. And perhaps now I'll have a more systematic, organized system for recording it. All right, so I had to rush that because the camera was about to quit. But I wanted to show you one other thing, because the battery is about to die too. But the battery has a little bit longer than the camera did. So a viewer and fellow YouTuber named ODE, Objetos de Escrito, and here I am talking about how I can use Google Translate to make it learn how it sounds. I should have looked that up before I started here. But anyway, sent me a pen because he knew I was interested in those lesser-known European pens. I will put a link to his video, but this is a Felisa Academica. It is a Portuguese pen. He claims it's nothing special. I'm going to be filming its first impression here tonight yet, if my voice holds. Hooded nib and all that. Syringe filler, just like the Inco, only this one's plastic. And I've already cleaned it out with water, so we're going to see what happens when I film that first impression. So this will be Monday's first impression. So, if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, maybe you'd like to comment on personal organization, getting things done, bullet journaling, pile of index cards, or the Felisa Academica. In any case, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, I thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.